Are Muslims really being euthanized in China? Why the sudden attack on screen time? Is social media threatening to take our civil liberties? And since when is recording divorce tasteful? This is the 504 podcast. Erica, are you ready to tackle these hot topics?
Yes, I am.
that's I'm Batman and she's Batman too. Welcome, Erica. How are you this week?
I'm good. How are you?
I was trying to think of something else, but I was gonna say I can't complain. And I couldn't think of anything else. It's such like a generic just thing to say that even if I try to say something else, it's just different.
I know, because we're conditioned to say, I'm good. All is well.
But it really isn't.
Well, exactly.
Sometimes. Announcing in unacceptable condition! Unacceptable! That's what it is sometimes. That's what's going on right now. It's just some stuff is just unacceptable.
Exactly. So that's how we really feel.
Yep. Unacceptable. And whenever I think something's going to go right for me, I hear this sound.
I've always loved that sound. When I'm waiting for an answer for my students, I do the do 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 do.
Oh, the Jeopardy noise.
Jeopardy.
That's Jeopardy, right? Yeah, that's Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Did he pass, Alex Trebek?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I remember that. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. He was fighting colon cancer, right?
Pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, it's you notice it's whenever like people were dying, it's always a cancer that gets us. It's some sort of cancer that comes and just takes us away.
Maybe they'll find a cure for cancer.
They might already have the cure for cancer.
I'm pretty sure they already do.
But
we got the cure for COVID.
Do we?
I don't know. Let's stick to the topics.
All right, here we go. Muslims being euthanized in China. And here's my question. Why are we hearing nothing about this? I'm hearing more about who's going to be performing at the inauguration than there's a group of people in China that are being taken into concentration camps and being sterilized.
I think we're not hearing about it on purpose.
But the United States, they're aware of it. And I don't know if there's a correlation behind it, but it almost reminds me of World War II when the Nazis were taking the Jewish people and putting them in the concentration camps. And I remember as a kid learning about this and saying, well, that's wrong. How come nobody stepped in? And you realize the United States stepped in years later.
Yes.
Like, why was nothing happening when it first started if it was wrong?
When it first started, it was, let's move all the Jews to the ghetto. I mean, that's what they called it. So they took 400 Jews and moved them into an area where it fit only 100,000. So how did they fix that problem? They just start randomly killing them, pulling them out of their homes, lining them up, and killing every other person in line, and then send the others back into their homes. So I think it was because it was a slow-moving process to where they actually started taking them to the point in time when they started taking them to the concentration camps. And that's when America stepped in.
But even with
that... But do we want to fight a war against China? Oh.
But even with that, like I think of whenever you learned about the United States entering World War II, it wasn't even that Britain was losing and they were being bombed and like they were just like the Germans were just taking over with the Russians. It wasn't until the Japanese attacked us that we entered World War II. We stayed out of it.
Yeah, because they attacked us on our homeland.
Yeah, but even still, if wrong is wrong, and we're always taught in like history class and social studies class that we stood up for the greater good and we stood up against evil, evil was already happening, and then people were just turning a blind eye to it. So now it has me thinking, like, is this one of those things that like I'm turning a blind eye to now?
I don't know, but what, like, I mean, there were other countries in Europe that fought against the Germans during World War II because of the Holocaust.
Yeah, like France, and they got rolled over.
Yeah, because you know what? It was too close to their borders, because that was Hitler's plan to take over all of Europe.
And then
That
what
was
would
his
have become
plan.
of the United States then?
But if real quick though, if you want to watch a good movie, if you've never seen it, The Pianist, it's a
No.
great movie.
Is that the one with Christian Bale and he's like 55 pounds?
It's not Christian Bale. No, I don't know the actor's name, but it's based on a true story. The man survived and wrote a book about it.
Hmm.
But and it gives you like right from the beginning, like when before. So like an ad was put in the newspaper about what was going to happen to the Jews, and the family was like, "This isn't going to happen here. This will never happen here." Kind of like, well, maybe what we're dealing with today. Like, this will never happen here. We're not going to be on lockdown for long. We're not going to be in quarantine for long.
It's always it's that expression like this would never happen is one of the most dangerous expressions, because when somebody says this will never happen, it means that they've never prepared for it.
That's exactly it.
And you think this can never happen. I mean, I remember when we were at school and we were told that we weren't coming back. And I'm saying it's probably just for the weekend. The world hasn't been the same since. I don't know when the next time will be where I'll be in a populated area with no mask on and feel comfortable.
Oh, you know when that'll be? When you're all vaccinated and you have a little app on your phone that shows thumbs up or thumbs down.
My wife was telling me that some smartwatches will know if you have COVID before you. And I looked at my Apple Watch and almost threw it out the window.
Yes, if you download the app.
There's an app that the smartwatch will monitor to see whether or not you have COVID symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
How?
All right. So let's get back to this Muslim genocide.
So, I mean, that's as far as I know right now. They're being sterilized and they're being taken into concentration camps in China.
Yeah, so it's a systematic attempt to destroy Uyghurs by the Chinese Party state.
I wonder if this has anything to do with France possibly becoming the first primarily Muslim country.
Really? He said that the Communist Party are engaged in the forced assimilation and eventual erasure of vulnerable ethnic and religious minority group. This particular group, the UIGHUR.
So anybody who's Muslim is now just going to be possibly a victim of some group that they may or may not be a part of.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I never heard of this. But again, why aren't we hearing this on the news? Because we're too busy talking about how Trump is a crybaby.
Well, any Muslims out there that listen, please, in the comments, tell us more about this. What aren't we hearing? What are we not getting the information about? Because when something doesn't make sense, I feel like it's something's missing when it doesn't make sense.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, getting back to what I was saying about...
Are they Chinese Muslims?
I don't think they're Chinese Muslims. I just think they're Muslims who are living in China.
But why are they living in China?
Because people live all over. I mean, if you look at China and where it is in to where the rest of the world is, it's in a pretty densely populated area. You know what? Don't get me the lion. Let me get a map of the United States right now, or the map of the world right now.
Not just over the few years. They've detained up to 1 million over the past few years, and forced sterilization against the Uyghur women. If I'm saying it wrong, my apologies. I'm trying to find out the correct pronunciation. So they're Muslim Turkic ethnicity.
Yeah, if you look at where China is, it's near India. I mean, I thought it was a little closer to Africa, but it's in this. It's in the middle of a bunch of places. Is Kakistan and Mongolia, are those like Muslim areas? I don't know. Look at me getting ignorant.
Pakistan. That's like Turkey. Where there's a lot of unrest over there. And that's terrible.
It is. It's terrible, and not only is it terrible, it's scary because if
A
it can happen
gradual
there,
erosion of rights.
it can happen anywhere. Oh, getting to what I was saying before, because I keep forgetting before we move on to our next topic. France. You remember years ago when they were like putting bans on people wearing face coverings in France?
No.
Well, there was a huge ban on people wearing face coverings in France because the Muslim women they wear face coverings. So
Oh, okay.
this is my understanding of what was happening. So you know how we've been conditioned to think that we can't afford more than a certain number of kids?
Yes.
Well, there are certain groups of people who don't really follow that conditioning. So in a first world country like France, where people are having like 1.5 kids, 2 kids, Muslims are having four, five, six. And those children are now growing up, and guess what they're doing? They're voting, and they're voting in their own interest.
Hmm.
And they're beginning to outnumber the people in the country. So it could be its first world Muslim country by default of we have more people in the country than
Hmm.
you do, and in order to my understanding is in order to kind of get them to want to leave, they started to enact these rules such as you can't wear face coverings in public or you're subject to fines or arrest.
And now they're allowed to wear face coverings. So, I mean, they have to.
Well, I mean, it's their religious right, but then again, those are some of the things that we take for granted in the United States. Moving on, the attack on screen time. Now, this is a topic here that is near and dear to my heart because I am, or I used to, at least I used to be, a gamer. I can sit down in front of a TV with a video game and I can play for hours and feel like I've only played for 15 minutes. But I
Oh, wow.
also don't play competitive games. I play story-based games. Like I'll play competitive games occasionally, well I used to more so, but now I play things and it's a story, there's reading, there's dialogue, there's characters, there's development, and I enjoy it. It's almost like watching a TV show, but I'm playing a game. So, long story short, New York Times produced an article, and they were talking about how children have this increase in screen time. And they used a specific game that you're familiar with. They used Roblox. And they said
Hmm.
this time last year, this time to now, it's an increase in 84%. It's gone up 84% from what it was a year ago today.
And that's because our kids are home.
But not
Where are they
necessarily.
going?
Well, not necessarily just because they're home. They're just saying, well, yeah, because of the pandemic and them being home, that they're playing more games. But then it led to another question where people came out and said, well, how much of that is dealing with the fact that there's nothing else for them to do? They can't go outside, or the fact that this is how they're getting their socialization that they can no longer get now. Because if
Hmm.
Tommy can't go to Billy's house, I don't know why people use those names, then how are they supposed to interact? Because I don't talk on the phone. Do you talk on the phone?
No,
I don't talk on the phone either. But I'll
no.
talk to my friends through Call of Duty or through my PlayStation, and I can have those same social interactions.
Hmm. And I think also the rise in number might be that they're all home virtually learning. Who's to say that they're not playing Roblox while they're supposed to be in class learning? Because I know it happens a lot.
Yeah, that's a
And,
whole nother thing over there.
but that could be the increase in number two. Like, you know,
If you're
what's your
making them get
Roblox
on the
name? And the
computer,
kid
yeah.
talking in the chat, like, and I'm like, don't go on right now. But I know that they're going on.
Yeah, if you're making them get on the computer and oh man, I don't want to learn how to add an apostrophe s to this noun to make it possessive. I'm gonna go check
Listen,
to see what Trevor's doing on Roblox.
and kudos to those kids that are building worlds in Roblox or whatever. Like, my daughter was telling you earlier about my daughter waiting online for Fast and Furious at Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah, you were
Interaction.
explaining that to me, and I thought that was really cool. So someone actually built Disney World, and your daughter's a character in the game, and she has to wait in line to ride the lines of these Disney World rides but she's in Roblox doing this.
She's in Roblox, and she goes on the actual ride. So you're actually experiencing the ride. So again, this opens up a whole new Pandora's box. So, for lack of a better word, like kids that will never get to go to Disney World all of a sudden are experiencing, rides that, I don't know, is Fast and Furious a ride there? But, they're going to have these experiences virtually.
I'm just thinking about like taking my kid to Disney World for the first time, and I'm looking for something, and he can tell me where it is because he did it on Roblox. Oh yeah, exactly. Dad, it's this way. How do you know this? Oh yeah, Trevor and I were playing Roblox, and we saw it over here next to the cotton candy machine.
And then my daughter got to the line. She goes, "Oh, I want to be in the front car." And it was like another girl. I go, "Who's that girl?" She goes, "Oh, it's just some girl. She's trying to jump over me to get in ahead of me." I was like, "Oh no, you better back her up." She was like, "No, I'm going to make it on there." And you could see her getting ready, like with her thumbs, like trying to hurry up ahead of the girl.
Look at your daughter causing civil unrest in the
virtual world. Did you punch her? I asked her. She said no. But the ride was like a real ride, right, Maeve? Oh, is that Universal?
Universal.
Did you go on any other ones? Walking Dead? Jurassic Park? So who creates these things? Who?
Someone who's just in the house, just kind of just going, you know what? I'm going to do this today. And then now it leads me to my question, because I labeled this as a attack on screen time. But here's my question realistically. If children aren't allowed to go outside and play, and they're not allowed to do the things that they would normally do as children, such as meet their friends in school, how are children coping during this time? What are they expected to do? Because I think sometimes feel as if like some of these terms that we put on adults can apply to children as well, but we've taken away all the things that children can do in order to cope. And then we look at them on devices and we say, no, you've been on a device too long, get off. Well, that's their coping mechanism. They can't go outside and play. They can't go see their friends. There's no parties. What are they supposed to do to cope?
You're right.
Like, I look at my son will play with his toys until he's able to get back on the screen again.
Because he's forced to play with his toys.
Yeah, and I look and I'm like, let's just stop buying toys. Like, they're just here. And then every year we just wind up getting rid of toys. Like, we bought him a Nintendo Switch, and we got him all these games for the Nintendo Switch. You know what he plays? He plays the free game, Roblox. Not Roblox. He plays Fortnite. And I think it's not so much that it's not so much that Fortnite is like a shooter game. I don't think he cares about that. I think it's a component of it, but it's the social aspect of knowing that you're playing with other people that I think he really enjoys. Because he can't talk back to them, but they're there.
Like Among Us. Well, they can talk back. They can talk to each other.
Well, they can talk, but he doesn't have a headset. I'm not going to let him be that annoying, 8-year-old kid with a headset. Not mid-game. He's not going to just like, hey, kid, don't shoot me. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Oh, you're talking about Fortnite. Never mind. Okay, I think you meant Roblox.
Yeah, Roblox, he plays with his sister. Like, they'll come in and get their tablets, and they'll be sitting in the same room with each other and playing. And I'm like, I don't really see an issue with it. They're interacting, but it's interacting in a different way. And I think, like human nature, we're always afraid of what we don't understand. And I think there are a lot of people who don't play games, who don't understand games, who don't understand the fun of it, the social interaction, how it can be a coping mechanism, and saying, these kids, all they know how to do is play games. Well,
they're the ones making these comments.
Yeah. Like there was a lady, I looked at a story, and I wish I can give credit to where I got the story from. I don't know if you told me or not, but there was a woman whose son was playing games, and he wanted to get better. So what did she do? She hired a private video game tutor, and he came over and started to show him how to play video games and how to get better. And guess what? The kid started entering competitions, and he's like $1 million in. He bought his mother a house.
Oh, wow.
Because he used this skill that was just sitting around and just kind of just not being tamed and not being festered. and he turned it into a career. And some of the people whom I watch, like online, they have careers. I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Disrespect.
No.
The guy's like in his 40s, and he wears like a mullet wig and sunglasses. He has like a really thick mustache. He's like a character, and he plays video games for maybe 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
Wow.
This guy's making a ton of money. A ton of money.
That's
and this
not
is what
called
kids want to do.
a job.
What you say?
That's not even called a job. That's called fun.
And this is what he does. And he records himself. He hires somebody. Somebody edits the videos and does the transitions and stuff for him. And the best part of watching him is when the game doesn't go his way and he just starts yelling. He says, "What is this? What's going on? Get me out of this game. It's ridiculous." And you're like this, yeah, Dr. Disrespect. Yeah.
So that's the world we're moving into, though, like with these kids and their devices, and it's just they're always going to be on them.
Yeah, so
Did this whole like pandemic cause this? Is that the cause of it?
No, I don't think. See, I don't think that the pandemic is the cause of it. I think, and I'll use another perfect example: the SAT. I've always thought the SAT was a pointless test, and colleges feel that way as well because now that they've gotten rid of the SAT for this year, they don't plan on bringing it back. In my opinion, because what is the purpose of the SAT?
So they're just going to go with the overall GPA?
I'm assuming so, because
well, I mean that should be how it is. I mean, they should take all 4 years.
Now, I know that there should be, and I think that what the colleges are doing is there should be some sort of test that you take to determine your placement level for whether you need to take some remedial classes or whether or not you can kind of just jump into college-based classes to see your knowledge level. But as far as the SAT, which is a test that's going to test you on logic in some cases, like I remember when I took my SAT, they told me there's going to be stuff on there that you never learned. And why the heck would I take the test?
Yeah, exactly. So that's gone.
Yeah, I think the first time I took my SAT, I got an 830, and I said, I can do better. And I went back, and I did better. I got an 860.
I got a 710.
But in the end, it really didn't matter. What did the SAT matter?
It doesn't matter because I excelled in college.
Like
it took me a long time to get through, but
you put unnecessary stress and rigor on kids for some tests just for it not to matter later. And then we wonder why. Like they're like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. Yeah, I get it.
My daughter take her PSATs in 8th grade, and she scored like an 1150. So I said, "Are you taking it this year?" She said, "No. What if I score less?" I go, "So?" She goes, "No. Let's just leave it where it is." I said, "Okay."
Like I almost envy some of the children because they can look at something and go, "Well, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense." Well, it's life. That's what I say. It's life. And I go, "Well, that's not fair." Well, life's not fair. And I look at some of the things I look at when I say that and I go, yeah, that really isn't fair. Why do I put up with this?
Because we were told that. And I think that a lot of our students, I think that they're more maybe the word isn't right, free thinkers. Like I don't know, like my 3rd graders, like I talk to them and I'm just amazed at the things that come out of their mouths, good things. And I'm like, wow, it's nice that they're not being led or being indoctrinated into saying certain things or doing certain things. So it's very interesting. And I like having these candid conversations with them.
All right, here we go. Next topic. President Trump was deleted off of Twitter. His Twitter, until I don't use it. His account is permanently deactivated. And this leads people to being very upset, not so much because they're Trump supporters, but more or less, the freedom of speech being taken away by some of these companies. And so it leads me to the question, is our freedom of speech being controlled at some point? But I will give you this fact. Since his account has been deleted off Twitter, misinformation about election has gone down over 80%.
Okay. And so has Twitter stock.
That's completely possible because there are a lot of other apps that people are looking into that they feel as if they won't be censored on. So do people use this social media to not be censored, or are they using it for a matter of convenience? Because I guess there's two types of people. Like, you want to be able to put something out there that a lot of people can see, or you want to be able to put something out there where you can freely speak your mind without being attacked or criticized.
Well, I mean, I think, we have the freedom of speech. And when you do that, you're going against that amendment.
But do we really have freedom of speech? It's literally like, we all know the things that we can't say on the internet without it like causing an uproar or having to not be friends with people, or not a fight, but like sort of a fight. Like, I remember reading a timeline on Facebook, and they were talking about money and people getting stimulus checks, and there were people who had differences of opinions, and these two cousins just started fighting over it, and then before you know it, it got all personal about your dad this and your mom that, and I'm saying, wow, all of this over just a difference of opinion.
You just picture them like doing that mad typing, their thumbs like going a mile a minute, and like double pressing the periods because they're so mad they just want to get their comment out there.
Oh no, she didn't. I'm about to press this caps lock button and it's about to get on.
People get so angry, and I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie, but I've learned to you know what, just ignore it, because I'm one of them. Like, I'll see something out there, I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to reply so bad, but I won't. I'm gonna be the better person, because for what? I'm not gonna win. I'm not looking to win, but I want to be able to say what I want to say without being attacked.
But I think it's in our human nature that we do want to win. And when you realize it's a losing battle, that's when you decide, I'm just not going to say anything, because nobody wins.
I think it's good to have difference of opinions, and people should be able to express their opinions, and not, the other person shouldn't feel so offended. Like, it's not a personal attack. It's an opinion. Don't get bothered by it. Like, yeah, great. You can think, listen, I have a lot of friends who don't have the same views as I have politically. So you know what? We don't talk politics.
And that's always been my big thing.
More than that.
If you don't talk politics with this person, don't start now. I feel as if a lot of people have gotten into politics lately and know not so much about them, but they're voicing their opinions the loudest, when it's like, well, you really don't know, and you're only reporting on something that you heard from someone else that is, or most likely is, fake news.
Exactly. And like, for someone I haven't seen on Facebook probably in the last 4 years, she probably took her account off. And today the comment of the day was it's time for the trash to be taken out. But I'm just, to me, look, I'm not offended, whatever. I'm not mad, whatever, by it. But I feel like we have to teach our kids some sort of respect, how to have respect for other people's opinions.
I think that's a lost art, where you can agree to disagree, and you can just respectfully agree to disagree. Like, when you realize you're at an impasse, like, listen, you feel this way and you feel that way based upon your life and your viewpoint, and I feel a different way, and it's fine. We can exist feeling different ways. I don't feel like the existence, or we can coexist, is still there. It's like this. Oh, you wanted them.
Yes, exactly.
I just have a difference of opinion.
I know, and you shouldn't have to explain yourself over and over again. And when I find them in those situations, and the other person's getting argumentative, I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, whatever. And then I feel like, well, why did I back down? But
unacceptable condition, unacceptable. Announcing the arrival.
I'm still trying to figure it out, people.
So, in the end, I think this is the beginning of censorship, and the cancel culture. They're already canceling Rudy Giuliani. They're trying to cancel his bar, bar membership.
Wait,
because,
Wait, bar like law bar,
Yeah,
or he's
law,
actually like in
law.
a bar getting some like Coors Light?
Yeah, they're trying to disband him
Why is it for ethical
because
reasons?
he's affiliated with Trump, and Trump incited this terroristic domestic terrorism on the Capitol 2 weeks ago.
Well, here's my question, because I didn't follow so much up on this story, and I don't know, you may be more educated than me. Did he?
I heard his speech, but again, people might say that I'm biased. I did not hear him say, go storm the Capitol. He said, go home. But, I could say what I see with my own eyes, that these are not true Trump supporters. I'm sorry. But,
Some of these people are just anarchists.
but these Democrats want to believe that Trump supporters are like that. But look at 4 years ago when Trump went on a day of Trump's inauguration. There's videos out there of people rioting in the streets in D.C., bombing buildings and overturning cars and looting because Trump was elected president.
But then again, I think that those people are anarchists.
Of course, but the left doesn't want to believe that. They want to believe that this is how Trump supporters are. And maybe there are some like that, but wholeheartedly, I don't believe that the majority of them are like that.
It's just one of those things with anything. What you do is you take the 2% and you make that come across as it's the norm.
Exactly. It's all skewed, and it's all in how it's presented in the media, because immediately when it happened, the media said, and Trump did say, go home. But in the beginning, he said, we lost the election due to fraud. So right there, that sentence was turned into domestic terrorism.
I did laugh. I saw a video of the guy with the horns. He walked in. He's like, "Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, I'm gonna go set up over here." And some guy was on the phone. He's like, "Yeah, I got shot in the face." And I'm like, "What is going on here?"
But come on, I mean, anybody with two eyes. You don't have to be a supporter of either party. You cannot see that was staged somehow. How is the Capitol building infiltrated like that? Today, National Guard there. Why on that day when you knew there was unrest?
Well, we're recording on Inauguration Day, so if the video comes out later, which it probably will, we're recording on Inauguration. Am I pronouncing it right? Inauguration Day?
Inauguration, yes.
Inauguration Day.
So, you knew there was a lot of civil unrest prior, from November till with the electoral vote counts were voted. Why not have extra security there? Does not make any sense. And Biden, like 2 weeks before that, said, I don't want any of my supporters there at the Capitol building when the votes are counted. Why? Because you don't want them intermingled with, knew what was going to happen? I don't know. People call me crazy or whatever, but I have two eyes and ears, so I don't know.
All right, before we get to our last story, you made me think of a topic. So I remember watching this video, and I watched the video a couple of days ago, and it's a lady inside a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a coffee shop. Yeah, it's a coffee shop. I don't know where the lady's at, but she's inside of a coffee shop, and she's refusing to wear her mask. So the store says, listen, we're not going to serve you. We're now asking you to leave. She doesn't leave. The police come, and they're trying to escort the lady out of the store, and she's like, the police don't know the Constitution, my civil liberties, and stuff like that. And they actually take her out and they arrest her. And I was having this conversation with my wife, and they're like, well, why are they arresting her? And then I'm saying, well, they asked her to leave and she's refusing to leave. She's now being disorderly. So here's my question. Is not wearing a mask and being asked to leave and refusing to leave considered disorderly conduct? Is disorderly conduct where you should be arrested? Because they actually took her and they started putting handcuffs on her and they arrested her. And she's screaming to her daughter, come get my purse! Come get my purse in the name of Jesus!
I think so, because I think a lot of businesses they're saying, please wear a mask. We're asking you, this is my place of business, I'm asking you to wear a mask. If you don't, just like with signs before all of this that said no service if you're not wearing a shirt and shoes, you
Oh,
know?
shoes, no
They
shoes, no
refuse the
shirt, no service.
Exactly. So what is the difference now? They're trying to protect their employees. I get it. And when somebody is just coming in and you're not wearing a mask because you're just that kind of a person, if you truly cannot wear a mask, then you need to have a medical card. But if you're not wearing a mask just to cause an uprising in the store because you want to now cry because you're not being served, yeah, I think that the store has the right to call the police on you. You don't, or do?
I'm kind of conflicted on it. I absolutely think that she should have been removed from the store. I don't know, like the arresting part, because now that's like, tax dollars and stuff because somebody wants to prove a point, and then it causes more people to watch that, get angry, and decide that they're going to do it. I watched another video right after that where there were these ladies and they were inside a supermarket, and the person goes, "You don't have a mask on. I can't ring you up." And she goes, "This mustard and this ketchup comes to $3.97. I am putting $4 on the belt, and I am going to take my items. You don't have to ring them up. The money is over there. Thank you." And they're recording themselves do it, but they're doing it for what purpose? Just to cause an uproar in people? Do people really feel as if like their civil liberties are being taken because we're saying just wear a mask to make people feel comfortable?
Some people feel that way, yes. So those are the extremists.
But and here's my thing. Like when I go to my barbershop, like they'll say like he has a big sign up that says no hoodies on in the barbershop. At no point did I ever walk in there and go, "How dare you?"
Exactly.
Because I get
That's
it.
his place of business.
Like no
He's
hoodies,
worn a
no
hoodie.
ski masks, things that make me feel uncomfortable. But as a shop owner, you absolutely have that right. But people are like kind of taking it as, well, my civil liberties are being attacked because of it. You have to see the video, man. Like she was going off.
That's where, like, look, I want to go to the store. I'm going to wear a mask. You're asking me to wear a mask. I'm going to wear a mask in your store.
I do
That's
think
it.
I do think that it should be, I don't know how I can say, possibly optional. Like if most people are wearing masks and then one person walks in and orders and doesn't wear a mask, I don't know if that makes that big of a deal, especially if we have the sneeze guards up and people are distant away from each other. Because I mean, realistically, you wear the mask and then you walk to your table and then you take the mask off.
I know.
And then the waitress is walking over to your table and she has her mask on, but you're talking to her and you don't have your mask on. So I
know
mean, I
that's
get it.
where it becomes like a blurred gray area.
Yeah, and I guess my issue with watching the video is I've always seen people say, what's the term I'm looking for? When you're just a disrespect for authority is within certain ethnic groups, like oppositional defiance in certain ethnic groups, but like you can see it all over the place now when they're being told to do something and they're like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." So it's not an ethnic thing; it's a people thing.
It's a people thing. Yeah, because those people are the ones that are, feeling very ultra sensitive about their censorship. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to go walk into a store and somebody's going to say, "Put your." I walked into DSW once. I forgot all about it. I got like halfway through the store. Not one person said anything to me, and I was like, "Oh, I forgot my mask," and I ran outside and got it. But not one person. I must have walked by 10 people. Nobody said anything.
And then why they gave you the little nasty looks like, "Oh,
Nobody. Nobody. Nobody gave it to me. Sorry, my dog is barking.
yeah, Benji's over there protecting the house."
Got a delivery.
Yeah, that's like my dog whenever somebody comes.
But he's going to stop in a minute. But nobody said a word. I did not get one stare, nothing. 10 people. Must walk past 10 people. I realized I was like into the middle of the store, and I was like, "Oh, I don't have my mask on." I'm walking out. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." And the lady just looked at me. She was like, "It's all right." And I'm like, No.
Well, I remember in the beginning of the pandemic when I was going to the supermarket, I didn't wear a mask. I just stayed away from people.
Were we told to wear masks then, or no?
No, we weren't told then. It became a mandate afterwards. But I remember seeing people in the stores with masks, and I'm looking like, okay, you wear a mask. I don't. The only thing that made me upset was this lady had her little nasty gloves on, touching all the Snickers bars. And it's like, if I wanted a Snicker, I would have to figure out which one you touched or didn't touch, because you touched everything in the store with those little nasty gloves.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like being told to do something is censorship. But again, and if we want this virus to go away, I think we need to do our part. I mean, I know I hear that a lot, but
My feeling of it is it's not going to go away until it infects most of us. And then it naturally dies. Because
80% of the United States gets the vaccine.
Sure. Listen, they were throwing around this herd immunity thing, and I'm like, hey, I was talking to my uncle. I'm like, hey, Unc, what do you think about this herd immunity? He goes, what do you think I am, a water buffalo? What's this herd immunity stuff? I'm like, all right, just asking.
But you know what? If it's not this, it's going to be something else down the road.
But I'll give you a perfect example. California, which has never opened up, now has the new strain of COVID there.
Well, hey, yeah, exactly. I don't get that.
How are they getting new strains of COVID? It's like COVID is getting with other COVID and making COVID babies.
I hear that a lot of people are leaving California. They're migrating to Arizona.
Unacceptable!
I'm going to time it up perfectly.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, you're right, though. Like, they never opened up. And how's that happening?
All right, man. Last topic. Let's get us out of here. So, who was the person who said they were having the affair with Kanye West? Jeffree Star? Is that the name of it?
Is it Jeffree Star? Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star has now come out and said, I don't know what Jeffree Star sounds like. Oh, before I do that,
man.
Does Jeffree Star identify as a man? I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't know.
Oh, so
He does. My daughter said yes.
The joke was Michael Jackson was the first transgender person because he identified as he. I read that and thought it was funny.
Jackson bleached his skin because he identified as a white person.
Well, he had vitiligo.
What's that?
It's when your skin gets lighter every year.
No, he bleached it.
Listen, all I know is that Michael Jackson is a musical genius, and it doesn't matter which of the noses he had.
He was. You're right. And he lived a very troubled life.
Yeah.
And I think that's what took over. But anyway, no, we're not talking about him.
Right.
So Jeffree Star.
So Jeffree Star has come out and said that it was not true. He did not. Well, no, I don't know if Jeffree Star came out. It was the girl who started the rumor that Jeffree Star did it that came out and said it was a lie. It was false. And we ran the story and we ran with it because we just wanted to believe it. So long story short, there are reports out there that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are getting a divorce. Look at me saying Kim Kardashian first, like she's more popular. Kanye and Kim are getting a divorce, and it's going to be recorded for the new season of her show.
And did I not say that when we did our episode? That
you did say
bet this. She's doing this for publicity for the Kardashian show.
You did.
Called it. I called it, Erica from the 504 podcast. I called it before it happened. See?
So, okay, but here's my question, man. Is it television or is it trashy to record your divorce? Because do you remember the show on HBO, Divorce?
What?
It was a show on HBO called Divorce. Did you ever watch it?
Yes.
I couldn't watch it.
The first few episodes, it was kind of boring.
I couldn't watch it. I just don't like anything dealing with divorce. Speaking of that, they have Sex in the City coming back.
Yes, but you have to pay for HBO Max to watch it. And the other one's not coming back, Kim Cattrall.
She's not?
No, they did not like each other.
Was that Samantha?
Yep.
Well, she's on the news. She's on a show I'm watching now called Legion.
Legion?
Mm-hmm.
She and Sarah Jessica Parker never got along. Anyway, but they won't talk about why.
Well, Samantha was the show, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. Samantha was the show. I don't care if it was centered around Sarah Jessica Parker. We all watched it for Samantha.
Samantha. Yes, she was. But back to your question, trashy or not. I believe that that it was mutual agreement. It's going to push Kanye's career. It's going to push the Kardashian show, and it's all for reality TV. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end they reconcile.
Well, I don't think it would help Kanye's career at all, because he's gone on the gospel kick, where
but there's got to be a reason why he's agreeing to it.
He might not be agreeing to it, because he might say, yo, I'm not going to be on any of that. Like, don't record me. Don't put me on any telephone conversations. I don't want to be recorded on this at all. I don't think it'll help his career at all. I mean, I don't think it'll hurt his career, because I don't think anybody looked at that couple and said, they're going to withstand the test of time. No one looked at that couple and thought that. Well, I don't want to say no one. I didn't.
I think that, I don't even think they're going to get divorced. I think it's going to be a first few trashy episodes, and then there'll be a reconciliation in the end, because it's all part of the game of the reality world out there.
No,
reality TV.
I wish divorce on no one.
Well, we'll see if they
it's
get
like
divorced.
Prison. I don't wish prison or divorce on anyone.
We'll see if they get divorced. I'd be surprised. But we'll have to come back and broach that subject when the Kardashian show comes back on the air.
And if they do get divorced?
Then I was wrong.
All right.
I'll admit to it.
Know this or that this week. We've kept you long enough. We're going to sign off now because we're over 45 minutes in. Mun, it's always a pleasure talking with you. You might not know this, but we're probably on the phone an hour before recording, just talking about stuff. And I go, we got to record.
I know. We have some good conversations, though.
And by the way, if you want to be a sponsor, small business people, listen up. Listen up. Want to be a sponsor? We'll tag you in. Let's link up. Let's talk. Let's figure out how we can get it in. All we ask is for a t-shirt. You send us a t-shirt, we'll give you 5 episodes.
We'll link up your website. We'll promote your business.
And we'll promote you. All right, Mun, we're done. Thank you so much. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark.
And I'm Erica.
And we are the 504 Podcast. Take care, ta-ta, and farewell.
Bye-bye.